running, but smoking in the monkey house, yelling and mourning city streets, or in your bed of yard sale Navajo sheets with skin some warmed like brick, as you pick and hum the song that's not your song, but tells us both before long you'll be gone, to be infamous in New York's shadiest pubs, though now we drink well liquor in shady Mexican pubs and buzzed, savor what they said in the ancient black juke shacks of Alabama, brother, you have an old soul. Until you, a different you, a boyish you, less the blues, plus punk rock angst and self-negation. You ask me again to teach you to sing, but the anxious sting of your starving child glare and the way that you bleed so openly before me seems disgusting as wrist scars. Yet, the greedy feeling of being desired is overwhelmingly satisfying, so I shine bright on the mucky couch, consider you intense and make you cry, roll my eyes till we smoke red tar and swim down deep and far from all of your friends in the sludge bottom pond. And then you stream away in the passers-by wearing sneakers with a suit coat and shaggy hair. Again, you in a pseudo-vintage hat and skinny t-shirt blow a harmonica on the city hall stair. You stare me down on fold-out stages, jamming drunk and horribly sweaty at shows half filled with scenesters and hippies, until at last call I give in and write down my number so we can drink artsy drinks and act sophisticated for a while, although we fall asleep to the allure of Lena Horne melting to a leather back seat, driving 16 hours from the beach where I lied to try not to love you. Wow. That was called Romance of Loose Ends. This next one is from a book that I just put out, sort of a montage, collage, poetry thing. I got like 3 copies if anybody is interested. This collection is called Angels Drive All of My Ubers. And this is interminable loneliness and what it felt like for those who need to know. I was hollowed and I was full. Plains stretched endless before me. Ancient stone giving way to men of corn stalks and sorrow. Scared or sacred, belladonna, the golem. Always imported roses I didn't want. He never knew what I needed. A warm bed, light on the window panes. Plants I've tended, plants I've killed. This house should have burned again. And I saw it, a breath, a fresh air all tumbling to the ground, and we rise and ride the ashes, a sudden white storm. The beamers in the median, headlights mewing in swathing snow. Every mirror peered, unknowing in my image. The lie of my brow, all I wanted but wouldn't say. My home, yellowed pages of tesseract and magic cupboard. A quest of orphans, a night story at home. Always talking animals, stewardship, and what I would do with my own 2 hands. Candlelight and my music, photos of Charlotte, our grandmother as queen of all deaf beauties. The ball game on low that I just read next to. Coffee and cigarettes, her favorite blankets, clean sorted socks, the practical magic of realism. I left myself in Yellow Springs. I was hollowed and I was full. I rode trains, never cared. I was going. I was full enough to list and flip empty, then rage up again in misdirected love. I footed trout streams in the Ozarks, swam the hocking, floating gallow. Siren travelers barely tried. Strolled eating violets, delighted, but always apart and thinking alone. I rode home backwards to St. Vincent and forth again to Albion. No exit, no exit, no exit. Her elevator dings the same as a heart monitor slowly ceasing. I chose to leave. I made to return through home and then to Athens, where the gravestones have numbers and laughter echoes ceaselessly from tavern to tavern.
Yeah.
My divorce does not need a revenge poem. However, I feel you might enjoy it, and we are here in what are voices and ears but for these words, these exercises, exorcisms. No amount of sage in my windowsill can smudge these sights. Him on his knees, begging, pulling dull knives from the butcher block to slaughter, no threatened self-harm. The hurt already taken, the knife drawn in the guest bedroom, her hair on my pillow, my son awakened. Down the hall, a beast raging in my voice, screams stifled since last November, a monster from my heartbeat banging and begging, the knife unsheathed in the winter, fleshed as pomegranate seeds, lightning in the core of a weed tree. As if he could change anything with words, quick regrets, this heart fleshed only by the dire. There's no mediocrity in this, no small fights, never a need to take out the trash or make family dinner. I will garden, make a nest for the birdlings, teach them to sing, make a garden of words without regrets or retreats. How to build a windmill, make things from scrap parts, industry. It is all that is left for us. A new country of bang-up mechanics, an alchemy of desire, the quickness, the leavening of bread. What do we know but this? To build a better trap, plant carrots for the winter time, decide what is best left and best forgiven. We forge onward, making do with forlorn tools and sometimes sorrow. My divorce does not need a revenge poem, but we do. Finish up with a couple of water-themed pieces as appropriate. This is The Wanderer. Brown-booted, I wade your eyes deeply, cautiously to the steep shelf drop, where I might trust completely in the equilibrium of salts and waters in our bodies, which allow us to float effortlessly upon one another. Only there are times when I believe I must sail, when it is too easily dangerous to drift dead weight, stretched parallel to the waterline, lapping in and out of my ears, waves chopping drops into my eyes and through my nose to sputter brackish on my lips. If you, blue eyes, are the ocean, and I just this poor metaphor of a wayward wooden craft, could I allow you to safekeep the swarming monsters far below me while I brew a windstorm in my lungs, to propel my sail towards each unreachable end of your indefinite surface? Or I could fail, slacken my sail at some terrestrial estuary, tread the shoreline where our gaze becomes glance and mine lumber brown lightly toes your surface. And I, hydrophobic, will remember when I was grandest, I felt small, wayward drifting, board flapped and trapped on the seas beneath the twirling trajectories of spiral galaxies in your eyes. The last one I have for you is called Carey River. The winter swelled thunderclouds and I burst from the seated underbelly, a swollen, sloppily half-frozen flake bumbling drunkenly for the ground. What I didn't understand then, the body as black magic, how her lines cast deep native spells while mine struggled tricks, unable to squeeze water from stones. So I melted into river, rushed to gather disparate streams between the gaping banks where my hips took to lodging. What I didn't understand then, the mind as paper boat tossed in the waters of Mother Mississippi, how my craft wasn't practiced to master such currents, and how surely the body floods thoughts to take them under. What I didn't know then, I wasn't a kettle, I was a drum. My middle name was Confluence. I could crumble the seed and take root, a new tree, and the flood would sweep the veins of each unfurling leaf. I was never a kettle, I was always a drum. I conjured waves to pulse in pattern, I beat down rain upon the shores I frightened from. And what I learned then, Mississippi is a tree. Snowflakes are stones. Paper boats are for crumbling, my hips are drums. My hands are musty leather-bound books, these fingers flipping gilt-edged pages. At the center of each palm, a spine that reads, Cary River, become wood. Thank you very much for your attention. It's always just a pleasure and an honor to read up on this stage where there's so much talent. And speaking of which, please welcome back the Steady Grinders and Friends.